Let's be honest, if you're making mistakes in these reasoning word problems, you are definitely losing crucial marks in your exams. Questions just like these show up again and again in major tests like SSC, banking, and railway. So today, we're going to master them, once and for all.
So here's our game plan for today. We're going to kick things off with pattern and series, then tackle word formation, dictionary order, and some fun logical puzzles. And stick around, because we're even taking on an advanced topic, letter pair counting. I promise, by the end of this session, you'll have the strategies to walk into that exam hall feeling absolutely confident.
All right, let's dive right into our first section, pattern and series completion. Now, this topic is a direct test of your observation skills. The examiner wants to see just how quickly you can spot that hidden logic.
Okay, here is our first question on the screen. Take a good look at this series. You've got AB, AB, ABA, then AB, 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 AB. What do you think comes next? Go ahead, pause for a second and see if you can crack the code. This is exactly the kind of question that puts you under pressure in the exam.
All right, let's break this puzzle down. The number one rule for a problem like this is to not get overwhelmed by the whole sequence. Don't look at everything at once. Instead, you've got to isolate the moving parts. First, let's just track the capital A. See that? It just shifts one position to the right in every single term. Now, what about the capital B? Well, it's doing the exact same thing. It's also shifting one position to the right. You see, complex patterns are often just a couple of simple patterns working together. The trick is to track each one on its own. So, when we apply that logic to the very last term, AB, 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 we just shift both the A and the B one more spot to the right. And what does that give us? That's right, option B, AB, AB, AB. And here's your big exam tip. Don't waste your time looking at the whole term every single time. Focus only on the parts that are actually changing. That's how you save those precious seconds. Okay, let's switch gears and move on to our next topic, word formation. The secret weapon here is all about careful checking and using the power of elimination. Trust me, these are easy marks just waiting for you, as long as you're systematic.
So the question is asking, from the word minestrone, which one of these options cannot be formed? Now I want you to burn this into your brain. The key word is cannot. This is a classic trap. So many students rush, they read it as can be formed, and they end up marking the wrong answer. Don't let that be you.
So, what's the golden rule for these types of questions? It's simple. You check every single letter of the option against the main word. Your answer is going to be the one that either has a letter that doesn't exist in the main word at all, or, and this is important, it needs more of a certain letter than you actually have available.
Let's put that rule into action. Now, if you go through the options rest, store, and monster, you'll see that all of their letters are right there in minestrone. But then, take a closer look at option B, teenist. To spell that word, you would need two I's. But if you look back at our source word, minestrone, well, it only has one I. And there it is. That's our answer.
So the correct answer is, of course, B, tiniest. And this is the perfect example of that examiner trap I was talking about. It's not enough to just check if the letters are there. You have to check how many of them are there. Always, always check the quantity.
All right, moving on to Section 3, Dictionary Order. This is really a test of your speed and your ability to stick to a system when the clock is ticking. Let's see how we can master this.
Okay, here we go. We have 5 words and we need to put them in dictionary order. Now they all start with dry, which is where people get stuck. So how do you decide? Where do you even start comparing? The only way to do this is systematically. Since they all start with draw, the real competition begins at the 4th letter. Let's see what we've got. K, I, U, and M. Alphabetically, K in drank is the winner, so word number 5 is our starting point. Next up, we have a tie between 2 words with I, drainer and draining. To break the tie, we just look at the next letter. E versus I. Well, E comes before I, so drainer, number 2, has to come before draining, number 1. From there, it's easy. We just place the rest based on their 4th letters. M for dramatic, and finally U for draft. It's a clear, step-by-step process.
So the correct sequence ends up being 5, 2, 1, 4, 3, which is option D. Now, here's a massive time-saving tip for the exam. The moment you figure out the first part of the sequence, like in this case you knew it had to start with 5, 2, immediately look at your options. You can cross out any choice that doesn't start with 5, 2. This can save you a ton of time.
Let's move on to Section 4, Logical Puzzles. This is where they test your real-world common sense. But there's usually a twist. So let's get ready to crack some codes and sequences.
Here's a classic type of question. Arrange these words into a meaningful, logical sequence. We've got police, punishment, crime, trial, and judgment. The best way to think about this is like a scrambled story. What's the right order of events?
Let's just trace the logical flow here, step by step. Every story has a beginning, right? And in this little story, the event that kicks everything off is the crime. A crime happens, which then triggers an investigation, and that brings in the police. The police investigation then leads to court proceedings, which is the trial. The result of that trial is a judgment, or the verdict. And finally, the consequence that follows the judgment is the punishment. See? Each step just flows logically into the next.
Okay, now for a coding question. If pen is called paper, and paper is called yellow, and the list goes on, the question is, where do we write? Now this is another classic reasoning trap. Your real-world knowledge means nothing here. You have to ignore what you know and just follow the rules of the code they've given you. Pay very close attention.
Here's exactly how you solve this. It's a two-step process. First, answer the question in the real world. Where do we write? Well, we write on paper. Simple. Now for step 2. Just look up paper in their code. The code says paper is called yellow. So in the weird language of this code, the answer is yellow. You just have to follow the chain of command that the puzzle gives you.
All right, team. It's time for our final and most advanced section, a challenge on letter pair counting. Now this one can look a little tricky at first, but I promise, if you follow the method I'm about to show you, you'll master this too.
Okay, the question is this. In the word reasoning, how many pairs of letters have the exact same number of letters between them in the word as they do in the actual English alphabet? I know, the wording can be a bit confusing, so let's break down exactly what that means and the right way to solve it.
The only way to solve this without making mistakes is what I call the two-way counting method. You have to check from each letter both forwards and backwards. First, let's do a forward check. Start at the E. What comes after E in the alphabet? F, then G. Now look at our word, E-A-S-O-N-I-N-G. Hey, between E and G, there's one letter, A, just like in the alphabet. So E-G is our first pair. Keep going. Look at the first N. What's the very next letter in the alphabet? O. And look, it's right next to it. 0 letters between them in the word, 0 in the alphabet. So N-O is our second pair. Now we have to check backwards. Start from the last letter, G. Alphabet says G-H-I. In the word we have G-N-I. One letter in between. That's a match. G-I is our third pair. From the letter I, count up. J-K-L-M-N. 4 letters in the alphabet. In the word, between I and the last N, we have N-O-S-A. Wait, that's also 4 letters. So I-N is a pair. And one more. Let's check backwards from O. In the alphabet, it goes O-P-Q-R. 2 letters in between. In the word, backwards from O, we have S and A between O and R. 2 letters. So OR is our 5th pair. It's a bit of work, but being this systematic is how you guarantee you find every single one.
And there you have it. Those are some of the most critical word problem types you'll see again and again. So let's do a quick fire round to summarize the key strategies. This is your path to full marks.
So let's lock in these takeaways. For series problems, you're going to ignore the noise and focus only on the moving parts. For word formation, think elimination and always check the quantity of letters, not just their presence. With dictionary questions, go letter by letter and use those options to get ahead. For logical puzzles, you live in the puzzle's world. Follow its rules, not the real world's. And finally, for letter pairs, you absolutely must check in both directions, forward and backward. These little tricks are what will give you that winning edge.
If this breakdown was helpful for you, please do me a favor and hit that like button, share it with a friend, and of course, subscribe for more masterclasses. And hey, let me know in the comments what topics you want me to break down next. Keep practicing, and always remember, reasoning isn't just about getting the right answer,